A small green insect hops lazily through the grass, alone, shy and harmless. This is a locust in its natural solitary state. No threat to crops, no chaos, no disaster. But fast forward a few weeks, and that same gentle creature is part of a swirling, churning cloud of billions, moving as one, devouring every plant in its path, turning fertile land into bare dirt in hours. This is a locust plague, one of the oldest and most terrifying natural disasters on Earth. For thousands of years, humans have watched in horror as these swarms appear out of nowhere, travel hundreds of miles, and ruin entire harvests. But what actually turns harmless, lone locusts into a catastrophic swarm? And what forces drive them to leave their homes and migrate on such a massive scale? Today, we're diving deep into the hidden science of locusts, uncovering the biological, environmental, and chemical triggers that create these legendary plagues and push them across continents. First, we need to erase a common myth. Locusts are not a separate evil species of insect. They are simply grasshoppers that undergo an extreme transformation when conditions are right. Most of the time, locusts live in a solitary phase. They are light green or brown, perfectly camouflaged to hide from birds, reptiles, and other hunters. They avoid each other, eat small amounts of plants, and move very little. A single, solitary locust eats just a tiny portion of grass or leaves each day, and its population stays low and stable. In this state, they are no more dangerous than any other grasshopper you might find in a field. The problem only begins when the world around them changes in very specific ways. The foundation of every locust plague starts with climate, especially a dangerous cycle of drought and heavy rain. Locusts lay their eggs in dry, bare soil, and drought creates the perfect breeding ground. When the ground is hard and dry, female locusts can dig small holes and lay their eggs safely protected from too much moisture or predators. During long dry periods, the number of eggs hidden in the soil can build up quietly, waiting for a signal to hatch. That signal is rain, not just a little drizzle, but heavy, widespread rain that turns the dry desert or grassland green almost overnight. The sudden growth of plants gives the newly hatched locust nymphs an endless supply of food. With plenty to eat and warm temperatures speeding up their growth, the young locusts mature incredibly fast, and their population explodes. This is the first critical step, a population boom that packs more locusts into a small area than the land can ever support long-term. As the number of locusts skyrockets, something incredible happens. They start to touch each other constantly. In the solitary phase, locusts hate being close to one another. But when there are too many in one spot, they can't avoid physical contact. Their hind legs are covered in sensitive hairs that detect this repeated touching. This simple, physical stimulus is like flipping a switch inside their bodies. Within just a few hours, their brain chemistry changes completely. Studies from top research teams have found that this constant contact causes a huge rise in serotonin, a neurotransmitter that controls mood and behavior. In locusts, higher serotonin turns their fear of others into a strong attraction. They stop avoiding each other and start seeking each other out. At the same time, they release a powerful chemical signal called 4-vinylanizole, or 4-VA, a pheromone that acts like a magnet for other locusts. Even solitary locusts nearby smell this signal and rush to join the group. This is not random. It has a built-in survival mechanism that spirals out of control when numbers get too high. This transformation isn't just behavioral. It is physical. Two solitary locusts are dull green or brown to blend in. But once they switch to the gregarious or swarming phase, their bodies turn bright yellow and black. These bold colors are a warning to predators that they taste bad and are toxic in large groups. Their bodies grow stronger, their legs get longer for jumping and marching, and their wings develop fully for long-distance flight. Their appetite also explodes. A single, gregarious locust can eat its own weight in plants every single day. When billions of them do this at the same time, no field, no farm, no grassland can keep up. The land is stripped clean in hours. This physical and behavioral change is irreversible once the group reaches a certain size. The lone, calm locust is gone, replaced by a member of a single, unstoppable living machine. Now that we understand how locusts form swarms, we can answer the next big question: why do they migrate? Why don't they just stay in one place and eat until the food is gone? The answer is a mix of necessity, biology, and environmental cues. The first and most obvious reason is food shortage. A large locust swarm can eat thousands of tons of vegetation in a single day. They move as they feed, but even the richest land can't support them for long. Once an area is bare, the swarm has no choice but to move to find fresh plants. This is not a choice, it's survival. If they stay, they starve. So they march and fly toward any sign of green, following moisture and new growth. But food is only part of the story. Migration is also baked into their biology after they enter the gregarious phase. Unlike solitary locusts, which stay in small home ranges, swarming locusts are born to move. Their longer wings, stronger muscles, and group behavior make them built for long-distance travel. They don't just wander randomly, they use weather patterns to their advantage. Warm air currents lift them high into the sky, and prevailing winds carry them for hundreds of miles in a single day. A single swarm can travel 100 to 200 kilometers daily, crossing deserts, mountains, and borders that no single insect could cross alone. This is why locust plagues spread so fast and so far, moving from one country to the next in weeks. Another key driver of migration is reproduction. Female locusts need specific conditions to lay their eggs dry, firm soil, just like the breeding grounds where they started. As they eat and move, they search for perfect egg-laying spots. When they find dry, warm soil after rain, they stop briefly to lay eggs, creating a new generation that will continue the cycle. This means the swarm isn't just moving to eat it, it's moving to breed and ensure the next wave of locusts survives. The cycle becomes self-sustaining. One swarm lays eggs, a new swarm hatches, and the migration continues expanding across entire regions. Human activity and climate change also make these swarms more common and more destructive. Warmer, global temperatures help locust eggs survive winter, so the starting population is higher each spring. Extreme weather events, like unexpected cyclones in desert areas, bring heavy rain that triggers massive hatching events. For example, recent cyclones in the Arabian Sea created perfect breeding conditions for desert locusts, leading to plagues that affected millions of people across Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. As the climate becomes more unstable, these perfect storm conditions for locusts happen more often, making plagues harder to predict and control. Scientists have spent decades studying these insects to break the plague cycle. They track locust breeding grounds with satellites, listen for the chemical signals that start swarming, and work with farmers to protect crops before swarms arrive. Understanding the serotonin switch and the 4-VA pheromone has given researchers new tools to stop swarms before they start. But even with modern science, locust swarms remain a powerful reminder of nature's strength. These small insects, when united by the right conditions, become a force that shapes ecosystems and human lives across the globe. What makes locusts so fascinating is that their destructive power comes not from malice, but from survival. Every step of their transformation, from solitary to swarming, from staying still to migrating hundreds of miles, is driven by the need to eat, breed, and live. They are not monsters, they are animals, responding to the world around them in the only way they know how. The next time you hear a story about a locust plague, you'll understand the quiet, hidden steps that turned a tiny green grasshopper into part of one of nature's most awe-inspiring and terrifying events. The locust swarm is not just a disaster, it's a masterpiece of biological adaptation, a reminder that even the smallest creatures can change the world when they act as one. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel.